to the clubhouse. I miss your faces so much, but I know you're having so much fun with your families. And it is still April, so it is still the theme of bloom here at church, where we are learning all about how Jesus is alive and how he wants to be our friend forever. And so it's a great theme because it's springtime now, and the flowers are blooming, the grass is turning green again, the trees are growing leaves again. It's just a great time to celebrate that Jesus is alive and that he wants to be your friend forever. And today's story is from my very favorite book called that's right, the Bible. And we know that the Bible is God's book. And how many books are in the Bible? That's right, 66. And it's broken into two parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. So our story today has Jesus in it. So we know that that means it's from the New Testament. So today's story is going to be a little bit about fishing. So clap your hands if you love to go fishing. I love to go fishing too, although I have never ever caught a single fish ever, so I guess I'm not that good at it. So usually when we go fishing with something that looks like this. Do you know what it's called? That's right, it's called a fishing pole. And so the fishermen in our story today did not use a fishing pole because it was like their job to catch fish. So usually if it's your job to catch fish, you need to be able to catch more than what you'd be able to with a pole. So they used something like this, except way bigger. So this kind of looks like a fishing net. And so I want you to imagine that the fishermen in our story used a big fishing net like this, and then they would kind of drop it into the water and pull it up and see how many fish they caught. All right, so our story takes place after the Easter story. So we learned about the Easter story last week, and we know all about all those sad things that happened to Jesus, how he died on the cross, and we know the amazing way it ended, how Jesus came back after 3 days, and that he is alive and wants to be our friend. And so this story takes place not long after Jesus came back to life. So some of his special friends that we call the disciples, were out fishing. And so they had been fishing all night. Remember, I told you they had nets. So they were in a boat, and they were fishing, and they were fishing. And every time they pulled up their net, there were no fish in it. And then when it was morning time and they were getting closer to the shore, they could see somebody standing there. And the person said, "Hey, put your net on the right side of the boat." And the disciples were probably thinking, you know what, we've been fishing all night and we can't catch any fish. But they did it. And so when they put the net down on the other side of the boat and pulled it up, it was full of fish. The Bible says that there were over 150 fish in their net. And then they realized who that person was standing on the beach. They realized that it was Jesus. In fact, Peter got so excited that he jumped in the water to swim for shore. The rest of them stayed in the boat and headed to shore and to Jesus. So when Jesus' friends rowed up to the shore and got to the beach, Jesus invited them to eat breakfast with him. Jesus was cooking fish over a fire, and he wanted to have breakfast with his friends. How amazing is that? Wouldn't that be so fun to sit on a beach and eat breakfast with Jesus? His friends were so excited that he was alive and that he could spend time with them. And so Jesus is still alive, and he still wants us to spend time with him. Now, it doesn't look like sitting on a beach and eating breakfast with Jesus. We can't really do that. But there are lots of other ways that we can spend time with Jesus. Can anybody think of any? Those are good ideas. So you can spend time with Jesus by praying to him every day, by learning about him, and by singing songs to him. Those are great ways to spend time with Jesus. But most of all, he just wants to be your friend. So if you haven't asked Jesus to be your friend yet, I want you to think about it and talk about it with your family. I love you guys. I'll see you next week.